So first, our land acknowledgement. I acknowledge and honor the Patwin, the Maidu, and the Nisenan First Peoples for their continued stewardship of this land upon which the center stands. Ashe. This morning's message is titled, More Than Enough. I have a yoga outfit. Any Lululemon in here? And I don't understand why you are laughing. I haven't cracked a joke yet. Soon. I also have a yoga mat, right? What about you? You got a yoga outfit and a mat? But does that mean that you practice yoga? Really? Yoga is a group of physical, mental, and spiritual practices from India that aims to control or to yoke. That's what yoga means, to yoke our consciousness, to remind us that we are part of something infinite, far bigger consciousness than anything we are all on our own. We are part of the universe, the universal consciousness, and we are an expression of it. And because of this oneness and this unity, we can overcome any phases of this life and oppression of this life and suffering. We are more than self-aware. We are part of something that is more significant, more extensive, and far better. Something more than enough. Do yoga shorts and a mat mean that I practice yoga? The answer is no, it doesn't. To practice is an awareness of being yoked, of being guided and directed and steered by consciousness. It's more than a mat and an outfit, even though it's the first thing I think of. Every time somebody invites me to something, I say, what am I gonna wear? You laugh. That is a confession. Our spiritual principle says that we are more than enough. Because of the love of spirit, we win in all things a sweeping victory. We prevail and we overcome. Now, the traditional way of saying it says this: we are more than enough because we are more than conquerors through the spirit that loves us. Whatever you are going through right now, whether it is in the past and you went through it, or you may go through it in the future, you are more than enough. The spirit within us gives us the ability to overcome and prevail. Because when we run out, spirit steps in. That's how we win. Now, it's not a contest. It's not a war. It's not a battle with others. It is only a conflict within our own consciousness, that we recognize that no matter what we are in, we are going to win. Now, personal growth and development, this is big business, right? Even I'm a part of it. There are two ways to look at how we approach personal development. One is we can try doing a list of doing, or two, we can recognize our very holiness of being. Doing nothing makes us more spiritual than we already have the potential to become aware of. It is easy for us to get in a to-do mentality. It is more challenging for us to be aware of the spirit within us. So one would ask, does God exist? The mystic says, I know that the divine spirit exists because I have experienced it. I've experienced it firsthand. To sense the presence of spirit, to sense the presence of love, to make this personal connection. We were talking last week about connection and belonging. And one of the reasons that we get together is for belonging and connection. We belong to spirit, we belong to ourselves, and we belong to each other. Recently, I thought, other people give these lists of to-dos at the end of their messages. I have never said 4 steps to victory or 5 steps to overcoming. I'm sorry, I don't think that way. Maybe there's something for me to learn. Because see, the thing that I'm worried about is our awareness of spirit and of love within us. And I could give you all the lists in the world, and it may be a good practice. There's nothing wrong with it, but it has to only emphasize and recognize what you already know. It's not going to make us more spiritual. I have 2 appointments a day on my calendar that says I should pray for you, I should meditate, and I should perform spiritual reading. So it's okay to have a to-do list for you to develop spiritually, but don't ignore the relationship while you are doing. Do not ignore the intimacy that is there. I focus on an awareness of consciousness. That's what this is all about. I want you to be ever more aware of divine consciousness so that no matter what you go through, you won't question it because you know that you are going to win. That nothing and no one can prevent you from prevailing because you have God within. No matter what comes in life, no matter what knocks us down, we are never forsaken. No matter what you do, you are never lost or discarded or forgotten. You're never forgotten. We need to know and we believe that we are more than enough because of what we are. Now that means that everyone is. We're special, but not that special. Everyone is special. We live in a world that tries to convince us that there is never enough, that there is only scarcity. Isn't that what it's all about? It's all trying to recognize and tell you you are insignificant or insufficient if you don't have certain things or you don't have certain accomplishments. Most people are satisfied with doing, but I'm encouraging us to first talk about an awareness of God that resides within us and then start the doing. We are interested in personal development, but it's all about personal awareness. Wholehearted living or wholeness living is I am living. The divine lover of our souls is the great I am and the core of our very existence. We are looking for wisdom in the lecture series by Brené Brown and The Power of Vulnerability, Teachings on Authenticity, Connection, and Courage. This is a precursor to the book Daring Greatly. We are more than enough because of the love of spirit that is within us. We win in all things, a sweeping victory. We prevail and we overcome. What do we have to do, though, to overcome? The belief in scarcity will mean that we will never be satisfied, that we will never believe that there is enough if we believe that there is scarcity. Love lets us prevail over vulnerability. Vulnerability is not weakness. And this morning, I am not talking about vulnerability of one of us to the other. I am talking about our vulnerability to spirit. Can we have a relationship and understand that part of life is uncertain and risky and there is emotional exposure, but we can still trust consciousness? Vulnerability is like falling in love and being the first one to say it. Vulnerability, though, about spirit is faith. Faith in the uncertain. We don't have faith in what we know. We have faith in what we don't know. That's what faith is. We talk about, I'm committed to this and I know this to be true. It's my faith. But I have faith in things that I don't even understand. Because there are times in life, it don't all make sense, y'all. Okay? There are just times it don't make sense. Like God is all there is. And I go, okay, I got it. Yeah, I believe that. But sometimes it's hard to believe the heinous things that happen. But that is living with uncertainty and living in faith and confidence because we believe in spirit. Now, I am not talking about being vulnerable to one another this morning. That's a different story. That was last week. I am talking about being real, being authentic with spirit. Can we have spiritual vulnerability? Yes, we do, and it's called faith. And the emotional exposure to spirit of being able to say, I just don't understand what I'm going through, and my faith is weak, but I still believe that I'm going to make it, that I'm going to prevail, and that I'm willing to overcome. This prevents us from having faith in spirit if we're not willing to reach out to the inward message within us. And what does it? It's called shame. That prevents us from doing everything. And why do we have shame with spirit? Because we don't want to be disappointed, because I don't want to say something that doesn't happen. Because I don't want anybody to remind me, but you said. And how often in life has someone reminded you, but you said? But you said, oh Lord. That's when you know that somebody's coming needing love. Because that's all I can do, not to start fighting then. What if I trust spirit and it doesn't work? Have we limited our idea of success a little too small and too narrow? Is it too limited? Maybe our success is something different than we necessarily think it should be. Look back over your life when you had a specific way that you thought things should resolve itself, and it resolved itself differently, and it came out better than you expected in the first place. That's the thing. We make an investment in the universe, and it gives us back more than we invest in it. We project upon spirit what we have in our relationship with one another. And it has to be bigger and better than that. To live in wholeness and wholehearted living, we must manage the idea that there are times of uncertainty, but we still trust in spirit. Our experiences of shame, of humiliation, and embarrassment are always there to remind us that we can be disappointed. The message or the belief that we are not enough is based on shame and often associated with being embarrassed and humiliated. Think about the last time you experienced some anxiety, or you felt that something really bad was going to happen, or maybe you heard that something bad was going to happen. Maybe you were freaked out about public speaking. Somebody was talking about that this morning. Or singing with others. Those things are not always easy. But can you believe and hold on? I believe that we will find that there is a shameful, embarrassing, or humiliating experience behind all of those fears. Last night at Rise and Speak, one of our storytellers told a story about being afraid of singing because they were humiliated as a child by the other children. You know, children are terrible. You know, that's why I didn't have any. My mother always said, I'm waiting for you to have some kids so you get back what you've done. And I said, well, I'm going to fix you. I'm not going to have any. Then she gave me a congregation. Lord have mercy. The storyteller, loves to sing and likes to sing, but for many years, it created a limitation for her to sing in public because of this experience. Feelings of humiliation and embarrassment can develop into shame. I'm not drawing that conclusion from the story last night, but I'll talk about mine. My event happened in high school. Now, I cannot believe I am about to tell this, because this is truly embarrassing. I went to Jesuit High, an all-male Jesuit high school, right? The topic of the speech was, tell a story about your hobby. At the time, I happened to be a dancer on television. Local American Bandstand or Soul Train, depending on which club you're in. That's about what it amounted to. And that was really what I thought about every day after school, is that I, ran and I got to be on television. So I couldn't think of anything else in this all-male class, right, with all male teachers. So what did I do? I did a speech on dancing. Let me tell you something. Until you are self-actualized, that is probably not the topic you want to have as a young man. in an all-boys boys school. The shame and the humiliation and the embarrassment of life. All I could just remember that my professor was sitting there like, I thought he was going to die. There was no blood in his face. But we have these experiences in life. To be exposed in public, to be humiliated in public, to be betrayed by a lover. And not only is it bad that you've been betrayed, but other people know you've been betrayed. Okay, it's embarrassing. Have you ever heard a young parent in the grocery store say, "Don't embarrass me in front of these people"? Yeah, that does. The embarrassment and the humiliation can be so intense that we make an inner vow that it will never happen again. We make an inner commitment. We set an intention not to be hurt again. In other words, we set an intention of limitation, which is why it's so hard to overcome, even though you want to do it. It's so hard to overcome because we have set an intention and all the emotion of shame and embarrassment and humiliation is behind it. That's why it's so hard to overcome. We have created it. But if we create it, what can we do? We can change our minds and we can create something else. This is why it is so serious to deal with our shame and our embarrassment and our humiliation. How do we overcome shame and humiliation and embarrassment or build shame resistance? According to Renee, she says you have to be authentic. You got to be real. You got to let go of perfectionism and the fact that you're going to do something perfect to make you feel secure and comfortable. You have to have some self-compassion on yourself. Stop numbing our pain, whatever way you do that. Whatever behavior that is, drinking, smoking, television, surfing, you name it, whatever it is that you feel that numbs the pain, we're just avoiding the pain. That's not what we do. We take pain to spirit. Practice gratitude. Trust your intuition. Express your creativity. Make something creative. And believe me, that can be repairing a car, it can be drawing a picture, it can be taking a picture. But you have to do something that has a creative outlet. And most of the time, it's probably something people aren't going to pay you for. Okay? If you're lucky and you're really good at it, maybe your hobby will become your career. Any guilt about not working enough? Any guilt about not working enough? This is confession time. This is mine. Where we use work as a status symbol, working toward exhaustion to try to find some self-worth. It's true. I'm thankful that I'm over it most of the time, but it visits me at least about one day a week. This can be in the workplace. It can be, haven't you met martyrs at home who tell you everything they have done to make your life wonderful, and you just go, here we go again. You have to learn to be calm. In fact, before you respond, I always encourage you to take a deep breath. You gotta learn to laugh at yourself. That's victory. When you can laugh at yourself, not laugh with people at you, but you can just laugh at yourself. And let me tell you, the more you expose yourself in the public and you expose who you are, you better have a sense of humor. Because like I said, I taught about dancing to a group of guys in a Jesuit high school with all men. Let God deal with our self-doubt. Self-doubt is like telling spirit that spirit is not enough. If there is one thing that I think is absolute betrayal of our spiritual nature, is to say, I can't do it or I'm not enough. It betrays who and what we are. We have to learn to play, to enjoy ourselves. You are more than enough at all times because the love of divine spirit created us, and it's in it that we live. That is the consciousness that we share. We can run out, but spirit always steps in. But we have to learn to be able to reach into spirit and be honest. And often it is honest about our shame, our embarrassment, and humiliation. we have to learn to trust Spirit. Trust when life is uncertain and when we feel unstable, like things aren't secure. We used to be secure before COVID, right? We talk like we were. I don't think I was. COVID was just a different phase of the disruption that was always in my life. By the way, I still went to work every day during COVID. And by the way, I was here every Sunday too. So my life didn't change much except for all of you were off the road, which was really nice. But we can be humiliated and we can play this out and we can be so raw and sensitive about it that we make an inner commitment to limitation. Take your shame, your humiliation, and your embarrassment to Spirit because you have the power to overcome and to prevail any inner conflict. You have the power. You are more than enough because of the love that resides within us all, the love of the divine Spirit. We are going to win. We are going to prevail. We are going to overcome if we reach in for spiritual power. You are more than a conqueror through the love that resides within you. It's all because of love. It created the entire universe and it created each one of us. It is all there is. And a recognition of it gives you power to prevail and overcome. Because of love, you are more than a conqueror. You are more than enough. And so it is. What can I say? Let us pray. I just recognize and know that awareness for everyone in this room that they are more than enough. In fact, there's so much enough, there is excess to share with others. We live in the world of abundance, and we live in the world of abundance of being. And for this and so much more, we say, and so it is. Ashe. Woo, praise God. Amen. It's time for our offering. Repeat after me. Today I proclaim my divine inheritance. I give this gift from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I provide, and all that I receive. And so it is. And welcome back to choir. Let's thank the choir.